Oi, oi, alright, how's it going? I'm Grant, you're you. This is Doodle Review, coming through with a new album too. Chat some faff about and tell you if I like it or not, really. Today's album is the latest from Bleachers. Who are Bleachers? They are a pop rock band with some 80s throwback sensibilities, led by Jack Antonoff. Who's Jack Antonoff? Well, he's the producer and songwriter wonderkind who works with Lana Del Rey, the 1975, Florence and the Machine, Carly Rae Jepsen, and most notably Taylor Swift. So basically, if you've switched on pop radio in the last 10 years, you've probably, willingly or not, heard an Antonoff joint one way or the other. Oh yeah, he was also in that group Fun, who did that tune, Tonight We Are Young. So if you were smugly smirking thinking you'd not heard any of the above artists' music, well, I'm sure that song at least will have infected your brain a few times in the past. Antonoff's omnipresence sometimes results in some backlash. Criticism that his influence is resulting in a slightly homogenized sound across all of the projects he's involved with. And that's something in the past that I've kind of toed and froed on whether or not I agree with, because on one hand, I think of a lot of the artists that he works with are distinct enough to kind of weather any production you throw at them and still sound like themselves. St. Vincent still sounds like St. Vincent. Del Rey still sounds like Del Rey, etc. But on the other hand, there are Antonoff projects that adopt a collision of aesthetics. You know, the 80s soft rock Billy Joel meets 21st century Bon Iver, sad boy, artisan, indie folk. They embrace these tendencies so strongly that I do start to see the through line if I go back and listen to those other albums, and can kind of sympathise with that train of thought that longs for those other artists to kind of crawl out from under the producer's shadow. Bleachers being a project where Antonoff is the core songwriter, serving his own interests, as you'd imagine, it encapsulates the sound I just mentioned at its absolute apex, which is both a blessing and a curse as it pertains to my personal taste. Blessing because this sound occasionally strikes gold, and curse because when not behind an absolute banger, the style almost typifies the complete antithesis of my core sense of what is cool in music. Growing up, I developed my taste in music through alternative rock, which in turn led me to punk and hardcore. And because that scene bred the bands that, influenced the first wave of alternative artists that I fell for. So many of those artists, whether we're talking Black Flag, Nirvana, Melvins, Bad Brains, even Green Day, their styles of music, the aesthetic, the rawness, the looseness, the dirt, the aggression, all of it, consciously or subconsciously, was rallying against the kind of adult contemporary 80s bright soft rock sound. Even if the mature adults those artists might be today, if still alive, would happily cop to being a fan of Billy Joel, Phil Collins or Huey Lewis. Back then, when they wrote their seminal stuff, they were snot-nosed, single-minded, principled punks that probably would have spat in your eye if you suggested adopting any of the sounds of the radio hit makers. As such, growing up with a taste that's kind of indoctrinated in those punk and alternative principles, there's an inherent aversion to the unapologetic brightness, unapologetically clean tones, the unapologetic bouncy synths, and dare I say it, major key happiness of some of that 80s soft rock that Bleachers so deeply embrace. With that being said, naturally, as I've gotten older, I've let go of so many of the kind of rules that prevented me from enjoying other styles of music, particularly styles that wholeheartedly embrace pop and actually seek to gain a mainstream audience. Nowadays I love a pop banger. I'm literally prepping an Ariana Grande review as I write this. But despite the maturity and pop appreciation though, this Bleachers album still manages to land somewhere in the in-between. My listen experience is one of being pushed and pulled between undeniable hooks and production tones that just make me cringe. Me Before You opens with a synth pad, light guitar bend and a stark smoky vocal that it reminds me of the weirdly slow adult contemporary crooning tracks that would inexplicably play over the credits of some 90s action movie, like a song by Sting aimed directly at your mum's heart. Tiny Moves has this combo of a pulsing synth and low-key bright guitar strumming that reminds me so strongly of an old-school daytime soap opera. It's hard not to imagine a montage of TV stars slow-mo turning toward the camera with a smile and their names appearing in joined-up writing below them. Same with Call Me After Midnight. The opposing force to all that though is that Tiny Moves and Call Me After Midnight both deliver undeniable earworm pop choruses and vocal hooks, while Me Before You avoids breaking into the cheesy schmaltzy chorus it's set up to and instead maintains this slow burning intensity with horn and acoustic guitar arrangements that are actually really interesting. I actually really like the friction between those two elements, the way I'm immediately kind of put off by a track but then won over by some great songwriting, and if it maintained this throughout the whole album's track list, I'd be kind of into it. However, this record just doesn't maintain that momentum for me, and so many songs, particularly in that second half, just kind of merge together into that bland The National meets Bon Iver, sad boy, artisan, indie folk sensibility I mentioned before. For me, as soon as the album removes the plucky, new wavy, soft rocky, peppy component, it just dies. The run from Isimio up and including Hey Joe is just a complete merge of tracks I can't really pick apart, and all carry themselves like they're delivering some incredibly profound message, but they just feel empty. It ultimately leads me to find the record a bit of a slog overall. The Lana Del Rey featuring Alma Mater lands somewhere in the middle. It's definitely way more engaging than the dead weight of the other parts of the record, but underutilizes Del Rey and never really reaches the satisfying conclusion the slow burning pulses suggest it's leading to. My favourites on the record are Modern Girl, which is a banger, you can't deny. I love the central sax hook and I love the looseness of Antonoff's delivery and the ad-libs, and it's strong enough for me to even forgive the kind of Jason Mraz I'm Yours interpolation at the end. I also really like the wound tight, super percussive guitar parts of Jesus Is Dead, and they're two early highlights that promise a much more engaging album than we ultimately get. As a result, this one sits at a pretty middling 5.2 for me. Undoubtedly some diamonds in here, and as I say, I enjoy the bait and switch of schmaltzy production to then slap you with a solid hook, but it's not enough to pull the score up against the bland sameness of over 60% of this album. Check this out. If you liked this, check out Cotuelo by Yoko. Yeah. There's not a lot in my library I can link it to because of my previous biases I mentioned, but I would say if you like this, you'll probably be into the sophistic pop of MGMT's latest. I'd also maybe point you in the direction of the excellent Japanese breakfast album Jubilee. Alright, that's it though. Let's knock it on the head. That's what I think. Tell me what you think. Tell me how you feel in the comments below while you're messing about with the clicks and taps and all that in that region of the screen. Just hit the subscribe button. I'm sure it's knocking about down there. Subscribe, share some thoughts, show some love, or just hurl some abuse in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers, mate. Bye.